was a nice sunny day. They had just bought the boat, and they were deer hunting. They saw a deer on the beach, and they put the boat up on the beach, and they went after the deer, but they weren't savvy on what the tides were doing, and the tide came out from underneath the boat. When they came back, it was up on the beach, and there was no getting it back in the water. So she was able to get a text out to her work saying she wasn't going to come in. With the limited communications, that's all they knew. They didn't know where they were. They knew there was a storm coming, and they called me and asked me if I'd go look for them. My name's Howard Merkel. I retired from the Coast Guard in 2006. I had just gotten off a plane earlier that day, and I had no idea what the weather was doing. It was a nice day out, and that's what I thought the evening was going to turn into, but there was a pretty bad storm that blew in that night. We got back to where we thought they were, and we finally got them on the radio, and they said they were in the next bay over. And so when we turned around, that's when we realized how bad the weather had gotten. It was right on our heels the whole way going into the bay, and what normally would have taken 5 minutes to get from one side of the bay to the other was taking us about 30 minutes to get back out of there. And just out of the corner of my eye, when we were about halfway out of the bay, I saw a flare, and they were actually in the bay we were in. We tracked back and forth in front of them for probably an hour and a half or so, waiting for the Sitka Mountain Rescue to get assembled and get their boat put in the water. And once they got out there, it went pretty smooth.
I'm Don Cluting, Director of Sitka Mountain Rescue. They were calling for 50 to 60 mile an hour winds, and so the transit time, leaving Stargavin on up into Naquasina was kind of nasty. We had the tops of the waves were blowing off, and we were getting pretty wet. Met up with Howie, and Howie was able to direct us into the stranded party on the beach, and ultimately in the end we were able to get 2 of our members ashore. Kind of a nasty condition, blowing snow, get them loaded up into our rescue boat, and then transport them over to Howie's boat for transit back into Sitka.